Moving beyond our comfort zone. Tzvi here, welcome. Understanding what is keeping you in your comfort zone is very, very important. Also, what is stopping you from moving beyond the comfort zone. Very two critical things. It can be very, very painful to make those changes. And it feels like a lot of time being wasted to move to make the changes. It feels like a lot of time is being wasted to make those changes. Over time, it can feel harder and harder to make those changes, to break free of that feeling that it's just too hard to move out where it is. It feels comfortable, but in a very, very awful way. The blessing is, I've learned over time what it takes to move out of that imaginary barrier into a place of bliss and happiness. Once I understood what I had to change, the whole thing changed. There was like this heavy weight that was just lifted off. I was able to look at things in a very, very different way. And I also looked at the problem as a challenge in a very, very different way. One of the most amazing, the best part is knowing that when a situation comes up where I feel like I'm stuck in a comfort zone, that I have the knowledge and I have the ability to make those changes. And that the outcome that I'm looking for can be work towards those goals. So it goes from making stuck in the comfort zone to moving it, instead of feeling very hard and tiresome and wasteful of time, to very productive and joyful. It's almost like, okay, there's a challenge now, let's go for it. I'm looking forward to it. Instead of being scared and walked out, and sometimes your body just can't take it, your body gets overloaded and sick, and you just don't want to do it. The answer lies is to take time out, to think out what's going on, what are our thoughts, and yes, one of the things is to change and view the outcome in a different way. We do have choices. Looking at a bad, negative, or looking at it as a positive, good thing. Let me share. The power of positivity and being thankful for the smallest little things too can help break down that invisible barrier that we've created, we call the comfort zone. Why is that so important? We'll explain more about it later. The default habit of feeling stuck, or the default habit of feeling bound, or the default habit that I can never change. These defaults, we can, with God's help, Mitzvah Hashem, we can reprogram it and look at it instead of a negative, back to that positive way, that looking forward to those changes. Okay, I'm ready for it now. First of all, I want to start with a story, a real life story that happened to me. As a child, I had a lot of trauma at school. I was put in a special school to help them work it through. And a result of it, it was very, very non-productive. It was trauma related to it. I thought I wasn't smart. I wasn't capable of succeeding. It was a belief system that I had, all because of a trauma that happened at school. Happened over a number of years. They took me out of the Jewish school and put me into the special school. It was very, very harmful. But I believed I was not smart. I was not capable. People told me that I could do things. I never ever believed them. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm not smart, I'm not capable. But you keep telling me, people keep telling me all the time. As much as they told me, I just didn't believe it. It's like, okay, you're just trying to make me feel good. I just thought it was something normal. But then all of a sudden one day, I realized I created that out of trauma, this tactic to protect myself. I created it all in my mind. It was a mindset. And as much as I created that, if people telling me I'm smart, I'm capable, and certain things I was very good at, okay. But the problem was, I had a belief system, I'm not smart, I'm not capable of doing all these things. It gets frustrating, I get angry with it, I just want to scream, I just want to rage because I'm not capable of doing it. That's how I learned it, from the trauma that came in as a child, around 10 years old, a little bit younger. I've learned it as an adult and carried it through. Something that I really don't need to carry. It's like excess baggage that you don't need. You just keep slapping it around for no reason other than you're just carrying it, because we're not aware of it. Once I took the time out, and it was just spontaneous. It just came to me one day that, hey, maybe I am really capable and maybe I can do it. Let's just change that from a negative bias to a positive bias. Of every time that thought comes up, no, let's change the situation and bring in calmness. I've been working on mindfulness for many, many years, a couple of decades, to be honest. And once I started applying it, and I could feel that rush of energy come into the body, locks it up, and the mind, and the excess energy just comes up. It's like, no, started out as an engineer, very successful in engineering. Other careers, not so successful, not even close to successful. But I've got that mindset that God gave me, that I can analyze things and work it out. Let's apply that instead of the negative emotion. So I come back and applied it. I was actually starting to work things out. So that belief system that I wasn't smart and not capable was already rotated around to like, hey, I was given this gift to work things out very analytically. Even emotional ways, I can work it out analytically. It's just the way my mind functions. It's a gift that I have, so I've got to use it. And once that started happening, I went from not being able to be smart, then when people say that you are smart, it's like, okay, I believe you, and I can work it out. So this whole energy went from feeling like I'm stuck in this awful comfort zone to moving out of it and filling it into a very positive way. And through the bias of bringing in mindfulness and calmness and realizing that that unknown part in our life doesn't have to be scary. I can just give into it and just be open to it and just work through it. Another situation, I always felt like I was over here and I wanted to be over there. And there's that in-between part, there's this huge gap. Everything that wasn't working out, I always felt there was a gap. I'm here, I'm there, and then I just couldn't do it. There's too big of a gap. And once again, I learned this as a child, to put myself in this barrier, in this safe zone that really wasn't safe. It was actually making me feel awful. But once again, I learned it that way. The body took it on as a memory, a way of doing things as that's what it wanted. So I kept pushing myself back into that comfort zone of feeling awful. Even though I didn't want it, that's all that I knew what to do. So once again, I realized, hey, that's a learned habit. If I learned it this way, I've got a chance to learn it another way. Because I learned it as a child and carrying it through as an adult, it's not serving me at all. I don't even know if it served me as a child. So the thing is to realize that I can just come back to calmness and look forward to the unknown, the place where there's unpredictable. The unpredictable part can be the most joyful part. It's part of the journey. It's what God gave us to enjoy. So now I know I have to use it and come into it. So instead of feeling wrapped up and stuck that I'm in my comfort zone and I can't get out of it, it's like, no, let's look at it. Let's work towards it. Take baby steps. The first step I know that's always going to be the most productive is visualizing. Visualizing where I want to go. And if I can't visualize where I want to go because it's just too much stress, I can always just ask God, please help me work towards it. And it may take me 10 minutes, it may take me a couple of days. And the interesting part is over that journey of visualization is that you can feel the weight lift off. And when you actually start coming into it, it's like, it just comes in so quick. It's unbelievably how quick it does come in. Even beforehand, when I'm stuck in the old awful comfort zone, I feel like it's never going to happen. But once that momentum, it almost feels like it just takes off exponentially. The unknown has never been a comfortable place. The predictability of something is. The engineering mind wants to work it out, wants to have it feel comfortable. But I have to learn that being settled in the unknown is very, very important. So instead of having the old energy of being worked up, the tight, have the ADHD kick in, all those negative emotions that the body's created to survive and think that that's correct. It's only going to learn it as it gets put in. And like a computer, it doesn't know anything. It's not very smart at all. It just does what it's told. So we have to work out that our mind and body, our energy system inside, is just learned it that way. We learned it as survival from our environment, whatever it may be. But understanding, this is a key part of understanding that we have the ability to change. And that comfort zone, that old comfort zone isn't serving us. So one of the most beautiful ways is now to look at it, use visualization, come back to mindfulness, come back to breathing. The breathing doesn't have to be excessive breathing, hard breathing. It can be just simple in and out breathing through the nose. It's a little bit hard to do it when you're talking, but you don't have to do it in front of everyone to make it look so obvious. You can just do comfortable breaths in and out and to slow things down. And the more you slow things down, the more you can control the mind to thinking of what you want. And I don't go in and fight it. The old thoughts there, okay, I know, I've experienced that over time, it's going to change. And those little wins. And you may have one situation that you just had a split second change. And that split second can keep going and going and going. Rabbi Akiva saw a little droplet of water come in, and how one little drop of water can slowly put an indent into a rock. And over time, more and more of those droplets made that indent bigger and bigger. So we apply the same thing, that we are capable of changes. We're the only creature on the planet that's actually able to change this way, as far as I know. So let's apply it. Neuroplasticity allows us to write new tracks. And we can write them in a way we want. We can do our visualization. We can do our breath work. It seems like a lot. People say, oh, it's so much work. But then I say, do you enjoy being in the place you are now? The majority of the time is no. And it takes a lot of energy and a lot of pain and a lot of suffering to be in a comfort zone you don't want. Okay, then let's turn it around and saying, oh, it's exhausting, it's time to move, to looking forward to it. And looking forward to it, it's like when you go on a trip we've never been before. It's exciting, it's new. So let's look at it the same way. I haven't been there before. It's safe to go there. Everything around it seems very safe. Let's look at it as an exciting way. Rechange the thinking, rechange the energy and the emotions. Take that heavy weight that was self-put on to relieve it and to move it away. I know it happens. The body locks up tight, the jaw locks up tight, the shoulders feel like they're rolling in. Then if it gets too extreme, the body will let us know. We'll get a cold, we'll get a sore shoulder, we'll get a sore back, whatever it is, the body locks up. So I know this happens. It's like, hold on a minute, I'm not present. I'm worrying about the future, I'm worrying about the past. No, the only thing I can do right now is make the changes right here and right now. The key part is about learning that the negative keeps us locked up in our comfort zone that we don't want. And the limiting feeling of getting feels worse and worse. It's almost like building it. You keep building it. The more you keep adding the negativity, you keep adding. But the more thankfulness for the smallest little things. Even just listening to this, be thankful. I'll be thankful for you to just listening to it. I appreciate it a lot. All these little things. Another like. I appreciate it. More people are getting around. More people I can help out. The more it can get shared, the more people we can help each other. Everyone can help out. And you know what? The more you help people, the more they feel good. The more you feel good, you see how people have changed. It's amazing how just such a small little thing can make such a large impact. I want to emphasize again, mindfulness and visualization and trust that we can do it. If God Hashem put it in front of us, then there's obviously a good reason, something we can get out of it. We can put our energy in to working through it and being open. That's why the mindfulness is okay. Sometimes we have to adjust. Like a GPS, the traffic's too much there, so we have to adjust it. Same sort of way. I know myself, it's like the more rigid it is, the more harmful it's going to be. The more open it is for myself, the more open I can allow things to come in. And when I open up, it's amazing. All these things come from somewhere. It's like, I never knew there were possibilities were there. But I was open to the goodness that's available out there. Observing emotions, observing how hard and how much pressure I'm putting. Let's relieve it. Let's be open again. I want to thank you very much for staying through to the end. I appreciate it a lot. If you're already subscribed, I thank you very, very much. If you haven't subscribed yet, looking forward to hitting the subscribe button and joining us in the future. Thank you once again.